Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I'm your host, Shawn Walchef, founder of Cali BBQ Media. We are coming to you live from the National Restaurant Association 2022 Popmenu Activation. This is absolutely incredible. I've got both co-founders, Tony, Brendan. You guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Our other two co-founders are here too. We don't want to take all the credit. They're the smart ones.
Four co-founders.
That's right. That's right.
Four co-founders. So part of what we do on Digital Hospitality is talk about every business needs to be digital first, and every business needs to be in the hospitality business. What I love about this podcast is that it's brought people like you, companies like you, to our forefront. The more that I learn about you guys, the more that I talk to your customers, the more impressed I am with what you're building.
Thanks.
I was talking to Troy Hooper, who's been with me, he does Clubhouse with me. He was telling me that 4 years ago he went to a trade show and you guys had an 8x8 booth. What happened in 4 years? What has happened?
A lot.
What hasn't happened in 4 years?
Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, COVID's the obvious thing, and we were growing before COVID, and the need for digital solutions was already obvious before COVID, and before people were super concerned about third-party ordering taking too big of a chunk of their business, we were concerned about third-party sites for discovery. And so we really started off as, hey, if you make a dynamic menu experience and it has all the decision criteria people want when they're figuring out the next place they want to eat, photos and reviews and ratings and social validation, and that's all in the restaurant menu, in their website, under their control, we thought, well, they'll take control back from the third-party platforms. And so we started off that way, and since then we've built a lot, and then COVID happened, and it accelerated what we built, it accelerated the adoption of it, and so here we are.
So how many employees do we have? Are we allowed to disclose these numbers?
Yeah, about 300.
Yeah, 300. Amazing.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
So how did the co-founders find each other?
Well, we worked with each other in the past. So Brendan and I worked at our previous company where he led product and I was on the business side. And so we knew each other from then for over 10 years. And then he went on to another company that was in the real estate SaaS space where Justice and Mike worked along with him. So we had the playbook from their experience there. We applied it to the restaurant space where we helped them, develop that first party relationship with their guests instead of these third party intermediaries. So that's how it came about. We're very fortunate because it's pretty rare when you have four founders that all are really great in their areas and they listen to each other mature enough. So we're very fortunate there.
What was the oh shit moment? Because I know you started. I know you started with menu. Can you bring me back?
Yeah.
I think we have something.
We've told this story. Investors always want to hear this origin story where you lived it and you solved it, and this is like the most bougie origin story in that we were working in Europe. Tony ran a business in Europe. I was head of product for it, but I was also kind of unofficial head of culture. And so I was the one who wanted to find the drinking places to get everybody together. That's right. And eating and drinking, like I took pride in finding those spots. We had 12, 13 offices across Europe. So we would have these little group get-togethers. And so we were in Paris where we had a big company and we had a big dev team that we worked with. And I was organizing something. And really the oh shit moment was, oh shit, I'm in Paris, arguably the best food city in the world. I'm looking at 3 of the best restaurants here, and I'm comparing them and trying to decide where we're going based on text. Yeah. And it was like, oh, this PDF menu thing, and this is in 2014, this PDF menu thing is still, like, all of a sudden it made me zoom out and go, it's not just, the mom and pops in my hometown, like where I live outside of Atlanta, biggest food city in the world. It's worldwide. And at the time, mobile, we were all going more and more to our phones. Near me searches were huge. And so it was, the oh shit moment was to me, this is gonna change. Right. Someone is going to change it. And me being somebody who really loves restaurants and always took tons of food pictures, my wife always made fun of me. I'm like, well, I'll show her. Let's start a company.
And we came here 5 years ago thinking we were gonna see something like what we were building or describing, and we didn't see it. And we're like, wow, we're onto something. And then the more we got into it, the more we had great response from clients, from partners, and Yeah, and
I think the thing was, we had that original idea a long time ago. Like Tony mentioned, I went to a company that was doing SaaS specifically for realtors. And really the idea was, give the consumer experience that the third-party dominant platform at the time, Zillow, was giving. If you give that to the local business, they can take control back. And then we had a very bespoke CRM for real estate attached to it. And so I learned the whole playbook there, married it up with this consumer idea, and that's really, the story of it.
So for you coming here, seeing what you guys, this activation, I mean, there's a lot of people that are building the all-in-one platform. How do you answer the all-in-one? How do you differentiate yourself from all of these other, because so many of them you integrate with too. So many of them are partners of yours.
I describe it, when I'm meeting with restaurants, I describe it like almost like a pie. And on the backside you have primarily like POS, inventory, things like that. And the front end is how do you attract, how do you bring people to the business? How do you have a different user experience? You convert more of them into a customer, a transaction. And then how do you learn about them so you can remarket to them in a way that's focused so they come back 10 times a year, versus 3. And so I think first and foremost, I would argue to the end of the earth that this part is arguably the most important. Because you can have a great system here, but if you don't have people coming into that system, if you can't influence the purchase pattern, if you can't alleviate the stress on your already, stressed labor challenges or other, then you're never going to optimize that machine or that that solution. So I think at the end of the day, we continue to be the best in the world at how do you attract and engage and transact. Naturally, look, we think it's good to give restaurants options. So if they prefer one POS over the other, we want to make sure that we can integrate with those. What we care most about as a restaurant owner, giving them choice, giving them some control over their destiny. I don't know if you'd change that, but
I wouldn't change it. I can't anyway. But
that's a teammate right there.
I think our perspective, we came in as outsiders, from the industry, although 2 of my first jobs were bussing tables at a Chinese restaurant and a Mexican restaurant. I don't trust people who didn't work in restaurants some point in their lives. I think the thing is we are outsiders, but we're coming from the front end. And so, the only really mature tech in the restaurant space for the longest time has been POS. And that's the back office. And you can talk about all-in-one, but when it's from that mindset emanating forward, it's extremely different than when you're saying, let me start at the very, very top of the funnel from the very first organic search that someone does searching for a restaurant all the way through the various steps of the consumer journey. And so I think we just have always thought very differently, and we built the platform, architected it very differently, so that as we walk, we really look at it like a modern e-com funnel. Even if you're just browsing the menu, it's not just if you're ordering. It's when you walk people through a multi-step funnel, multiple calls to action, all of a sudden you're getting all this preference data from people viewing dishes, from people commenting on dishes, from people sharing dishes. You also put in all of these opportunities to capture their contact information. Now all of a sudden, it's not a website. Like when people talk about, oh, you guys do websites, it's not in the same sense that a HubSpot is not a website. It is a fully, full-featured digital platform. And the benefits from that are all the things that drive things like Amazon, and drive modern e-com. And it's like, why wouldn't restaurants have all of that capability in their hands? It's an engine that's constantly capturing people's contact info, and it's constantly capturing their preference info. And so all of a sudden you just have this automatically building CRM that's getting smarter and smarter. You really don't have to do anything to stay in front of people.
And now a quick break from digital hospitality to talk about Popmenu. You guys know how much we care about digital hospitality. Every business needs to be digital first, and every business needs to be in the hospitality business. We couldn't be more fired up to meet the team at Popmenu. Brendan, Sweeney, Tony, Roy, the entire team is dedicated to improving your digital hospitality experience online. They even have new tools like Popmenu Answering. Popmenu Answering turns every restaurant phone call into an opportunity. It uses artificial intelligence to answer the simple questions that are tying up your phone lines, like, can I make a reservation? Where are you located? Do you still have brisket? And over 50% of restaurant guests are happy to have their questions answered by an automated system. Within the Popmenu platform, you can customize answers for your restaurant and choose the voice your guest hears, which we recommend is your voice, and even send follow-up links via text message. Popmenu Answering picks up your phone 24/7, 365 days out of the year, allowing you and your team to focus on what matters most. Prevent lost customers and impress your guests with Popmenu Answering. And for a limited time, our listeners get $100 off your first month, plus lock in one unchanging monthly rate at popmenu.com/influencers. Go now to get $100 off your first month and learn more about Popmenu's full collection of tools at popmenu.com/influencers. And now back to the show.
So what kind of product releases? What are we doing? Are we going to get some breaking news?
Well, I mean,
earth-shattering news?
I don't know about
talk about answering. Yeah.
I think product we've released recently that has been incredibly well received. Like we're record adoption every month, every week really, is our AI-based phone answering. You know, we've met with thousands of restaurateurs. You're sitting in the meeting and you constantly saw them having to get up or yell at somebody to go answer the phone. And Brendan actually was visiting one of our clients, Spinato's in Arizona, a great family-owned business, 5 locations in Arizona. But that gave us the idea, and as we learned more about it, especially if you think about now the labor issues and everything, that labor is always a challenge, but right now it's very difficult, especially in markets like California. So the AI-based phone answering will essentially answer all the queries into the restaurant quickly and accurately. Yeah, everyone has to remember, every phone call to the business is a transaction. If my wife wants to know if you have vegan options or if you cook with peanut oil, and she can't get that answer quickly, she assumes no. And you just lost a 4-top and 3 of them never been there before. So the AI-based phone answering it solves real problems. It answers every question. You can customize those responses. Hey, do you have trivia night? Yeah, we've got trivia every Wednesday from 6 to 9 p.m. By the way, check out our world famous wings and our whatever beer. So it solves the labor challenge. It's a great tool that makes sure it's a great guest experience. But I think the AI-based phone, and we're still in the infancy stage, and I will tell you it's already blowing people away. It is unbelievable because to equate it to a cost, it's roughly 47 cents an hour for our AI phone. That person shows up to work every day on time, never calls in sick, and you don't have any ancillary costs. And by the way, your guest loves it. I mean, to me, that's one of the most recent things we've done that I think is incredibly transformative. And it's only going to get light years better every month and every quarter. That would be one that I would right off the bat.
It's huge. And, you know, the insight came from sitting with restaurateurs and seeing, hey, this is one of the only businesses people still call all the time because they can't get the information they want. And then restaurateurs are like, they can't just have somebody man the phone, but also they can't miss those calls because it could be private dining event, it could be catering, it could be just, like you said, a normal reservation, or it could just be questions that need to get answered before they can decide on a place to go to. And so what's awesome is it started as an insight that, hey, this is a thing that everyone's just kind of thrown up their hands and said, there's no solving this. Yeah. But what we understood was because we have all the menu data, we have all of the data that goes into not just the website, but also we integrate with Google My Business to make that extremely easy for restaurants. We have all of their location data. And so we have the data, we have it structured. It's just a matter of, hey, you take that inbound voice query, turn it to text, you bang it up against the data you have, turn that from text to voice and send it back. And it's not that easy. Like, I couldn't do it, but basically it's not crazy rocket science. We're in good position to do it. We know it'll help. And so it's one of those things that's just a no-brainer. It's also going to answer every single call that's coming all the time. And, you know, we're also in a position, we've just done some consumer and restaurant research. We see the consumers say, 3/4 of them say they're fine interacting with technology in this way as long as they get the answer. They just want the answer. And you know, one of the things is I hear from restaurateurs all the time is like, hey, we're doing hospitality. I want it to be a person. And it's like, I do too. And in an ideal world, you would. But you don't have the staff to do it. And so the alternative is a robot, which, by the way, knows everything perfectly about your restaurant and articulates it the way that you want it. And so you can do custom responses that really sell, which is what everybody wants. It's hard to train a staff to do that. And so I think this is one of those things that everything we do is about reducing steps, reducing costs, and making a more holistic combination of anything guest facing. Yeah. And so when you put all of that stuff together and get this unified view of a guest, this is what's going to be in the near future magic for restaurants is having this really, really smart, detailed view of their guests, and then a system just orienting all kinds of automated engagement.
There's a very big difference between pushing a product and solving a problem. You know, we make mistakes, but we do that because we're learning so quickly, and that AI phone is solving a real problem for them. And this is a problem that's not going to go away. Yeah. So the faster people adopt that, the better they can be successful.
So for people that are listening to this, that are thinking about coming to the National Restaurant Association show, like, why should someone come in real life to events like this?
Oh, man.
Well, I mean, first of all, I think in business and in personal life, you should always have a thirst for learning. You know, for us, when we came here 5 years ago, we came to just learn. You know, I wanted to see what different technologies were out there, how are they positioning themselves. So I think I would say, first off, if you're in this space, you should always be learning. You should never get complacent, and the status quo is a big killer. So I think that's it. You form a lot of great relationships with people that are going to help you introduce other people or partners, or give you some ideas, or give you candid feedback. For me, that's the biggest thing, is our ability to learn, our ability to build relationships. You know, because our whole idea is how do we speed back our feedback loop at every step of the way. The more feedback you get, the more you can handle that constructive feedback. It allows you to service your guests better, or your clients better, excuse me. So.
Yeah, I mean, I
felt good about that answer.
It was really good. Good job, buddy.
My grandfather would like that. Everyone who listens to the show, they know we talk about stay curious, get involved, ask for help.
Yeah.
If you're not curious, you wouldn't be listening to this. Getting involved, this is coming here, but then actually interacting. You know, you can't passively just walk by here.
Yeah.
You actually have to go and talk to people, touch people. You know, you have an incredible team. I've seen them. They've been working tirelessly, talking, showing off products, showing people how to solve the problems that they have.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look, this is hospitality.
Yeah.
You know, hospitality is done in person. Online ordering is great when you have to do it. My preference will always be to go into the restaurant. You know, and we first architected this really specifically for independents, but really for FSRs. And that's still, to me, the real restaurant experience. We got a lot of different lines of business now that we can tap to get revenue as an industry. That's still the core of it, is restaurants, and that's people. And so coming here is the beginning of a hospitality experience, right? It's just like it. For us, it's giving hospitality to people who want to learn more. And so I'd say come because, first of all, we're all sick of Zoom. I'm sick of those damn little boxes. Nothing, you don't, humanity gets stripped out of that thing so badly. And also, you kind of tend to think you know everything when and you're checking your email and whatever. If you come in, you can just demo us and you can demo everything else and see, like, in a more deep way than getting on a freaking Zoom. And yeah, sometimes you have to deal with pushy salespeople or the line for hot dogs or somebody walking through while we're filming here with a hot dog. We thought it would be cool to be, we're between the two hot dog booths and it's just hot dog fest in between us. But I think you come here because, first of all, it's been a long time. It feels good to be around people. And then you can honestly get deeper with these solutions that you really only could access over, you know, for the most part. You can only learn about them over the web, and it's just so much better, so much deeper learning.
Well, one of the coolest things for us is people that will watch this, will listen to this. If you contact Popmenu, we'll put a link in the show notes. If you contact Popmenu, you onboard them onto your restaurant, then we can hear your story. Share your story with us so that we can go on our clubhouse rooms every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We want to share your story. You know, you taking care of your village, your city, your community, your country. We want you to be an e-commerce company. That's why we started this whole entire podcast. That's why we teach people this kind of stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We're fired up about the
partnership.
I'm always fired up. I love that.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Thanks a lot, man. Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you.